In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the power steering fluid reservoir on this Honda Civic. Located under the hood on the passenger side, let's get started. Ideally, you would start by removing this cap and removing all of the fluid that you can out of the reservoir. However, mine is already empty due to a leak at the bottom of the reservoir, which is why it's getting replaced. Now, if you did have a full reservoir, on top of removing the fluid, I recommend putting a catch pan underneath the vehicle so it can catch any drippage. I'm going to take some pliers and push this hose clamp back and out of the way so I can remove the hose. Give the hose a couple twists, and then you can use those same pliers to kind of pry it off. There we go. That's one. There's another hose down below. It's a bigger hose. That's the input to the pump. This was the return hose. And sneak my pliers down there. That hose clamp off, and then the hose. There we go. Fluid is leaking a little bit. Now you can pull the reservoir straight up. And there it is. Take the new reservoir, slide it down into position, and lock it on to its retainer bracket. All right. Try to get that lower hose reattached. Once you line it up, you should be able to just push it on, slide it. There we go. Make sure that's fully bottomed out. Now pinch that clamp and try to bring it back to where it was. All right, so it's hard to see, but that clamp is on. We'll get the other hose, reconnect it. Make sure that's bottomed out. Grab the hose clamp. There we go, that's connected. Let's fill it up. Now I recommend getting a funnel so you don't make a mess, and add the appropriate type of power steering fluid. You can find this information in the owner's manual. Bring it up to the full line, then we'll bleed the system. Now, depending on your situation, there may or may not be a lot of air to bleed out of the system. My system was pretty low on fluid, so I'm expecting quite a bit of air. If you didn't have much air and still had plenty of fluid in the reservoir, you shouldn't have much to bleed at all. This is the full line right here. It's pretty much up to the top, so let's bleed it. The bleeding sequence consists of turning the steering wheel left to right, full lock to full lock, until there's no more air bubbling out of the reservoir and the fluid is just circulating. Now you want to do this with the vehicle off. Don't run the engine so that the power steering pump doesn't pump air through the system. You just want to push it manually. Here we go. I've done this a few times. As you can see, the color of the fluid has darkened. That means it mixed in with the remaining fluid in the system. Do this as many times as it takes until it stabilizes. Top it off to the full line, cap it off, run the vehicle, do the same thing with it running, then take it for a test drive.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.